Alright, so I wanted to come up with a concept I'm calling a modular machine floor, right? And that's gonna be all of this right here. So these are all the different concepts that I was working on. It really started down here. I was trying to get the dimensions right because what I wanted to do was first I'm teleporting power wirelessly to this system or whatever. So this basically represents the power coming in right here on this block right here, and then it's gonna go to a redstone flux cell. You know what I'm saying? What's being teleported into a redstone flux cell. Then it goes to an energy converter that converts it from RF or FE into forge energy into EU energy units that are compatible with Greg Tech, right? So that's what the converter's for. And then we have a battery buffer here. Fill us up with some batteries or whatever so it can store the power. And then we run that directly into the machine, right? And then all the space that's around this is so I can hook up all alternate machines or super tanks or super chests or barrels or whatever I need to hook up in order to process whatever I'm trying to process, right? So this was the initial design. I had two blocks of space on each side. That two blocks of space is more ideal if I want to hook up a large processing chain, but I wanted to stick as many machines inside of one chunk as possible. So that's where my mentality is usually at. So this is the same thing right here. It's just reworked so I can get as many machines inside of here as much as possible. And it's a little bit overkill because there's battery boxes and energy converters on everything, and there's only one machine attached to each one of these. But it's what I was trying to come up with. So right here I have 9 basic macerators inside of one chunk, and then of course all of this functions as a module, as mostly all my builds do. So I could just stack them upwards, so it's scalable. You know what I'm saying? Over here, I was trying to go for a little bit more compact design, and I took away some of the blocks so I could see what was going on. And this is the same thing, also inside of a chunk. This one represents 5 per line. You know what I'm saying? So that's 15 machines on one layer, right? But the only issue is I'm sacrificing space because I only have one block of space around this. So this is mostly going to be like single block machines with a singular process, and the crafting chain is not too complex. You know what I'm saying? Or the processing chain is not too complex where it needs to run through multiple machines and multiple recipes and stuff like that. So this can only work in a specialized scenario, in a specialized use case scenario. This will be more optimal, more general purpose because I have at least a space on each side, so I can extend this. Uh, for instance, let's say right here, right there, right there, right there. This all these glass blocks basically represent a machine. You know what I'm saying, or a tank or whatever, or a connection or whatever I need to do, so I can extend it around. You know what I'm saying, and I can output to each direction or input from each direction, and that's more general purpose than than this right here. So this is not really ideal. So then I extended the idea a little bit more instead, and I was like, you know what? Maybe if I bloom it out like a flower, I could get more machines on one line. You know what I'm saying? So this is the old power flower concept from back in the days, from like what was it, 125 or 124? I mean 125 or 147, like old school, real old school version of MC when in industrial craft. That's where the concept comes from, the original. Um, yeah, so this is that concept. You know what I'm saying? All the power comes in through the red lines or whatever connects to the redstone flux cells. They not configured so these wires actually connect, and then it gets dispersed to energy converters. Each one in each cardinal direction or whatever. You have battery buffers that come off of that, and then that attaches to the actual machine blocks, to the singular machine blocks. So good idea. Same thing. Same issue as this one over here as far as space. Um, it works in uh like single block uh crafting chains or whatever. If anything that's more complex than two or three machines, then this is gonna get convoluted real quick. You know what I'm saying? Mind you, there's something else that I'm also not talking about because I have these battery buffers connected directly to the machines, but I can also put wires there instead. You know what I'm saying? And then connect it that way. All right, so this is that same concept. I expanded it out to see what it would look like for one chunk, uh, with a little bit more space, um, a block space, extra block space or whatever. You know what I'm saying? So now I can have a block up here, same thing down here. You know what I'm saying? All of these be blocks, whatever it's gonna be, and I can extend it on the side. And then for this one, I can extend it on the side. So I have space all around the entire machine to actually make something work. And this represents, um, what's it, 4, 8, 12. So 12 times, well, 4 times 9. 4 times 9 is going to be 36 machines. So 36 machines per layer. You know what I'm saying? Which is not bad. This is actually usable. I can use this for something. And it's nice, modular, it's neat. Like, the way I want to keep my stuff. And then I extended it further. You know what I'm saying? This is all LV machines and LV machine components. These are LV low voltage 16 amp energy converters, you know what I'm saying? And LV battery buffers as well as LV machines or whatever. So this is the tier that I'm actually in. This is MV, and this reflects a little bit more realistically what I would actually build. And this is a 1 amp MV energy converter, which is a lot more simple to actually produce right now versus anything higher than that. So it's only an amp coming out of that, you know what I'm saying? But it's going to be an amp at was 128, 64, 128. I forgot what's the base value for EU for MV anyway. You know what I'm saying? Anyway, the 4x battery buffers. I don't really need anything larger than that. You know what I'm saying? The MV batteries go inside of that. They're large, extremely large or whatever. And that's that. So I was thinking about how I can further optimize this, and that's when I came up with this right here. So this is the same exact concept, right? The only difference is there's more battery buffers, more energy converters, and a wider footprint. You know what I'm saying? So there's no actual machines attached to this. You know what I'm saying? This is just the basic modular setup. You know what I'm saying? And getting to the modular part or whatever. So this would basically exist to be any one of these squares right here. You know what I'm saying? So this is 12. You know what I'm saying? Each side is 2, that's 8, and then the 4 corners, that's 12. I could fit 12 basic machines on here. And it's the same thing down here. You know what I'm saying? So 12 times 3, same thing is 36. So I could fit all of that all the way down there. But the only thing is that now I have actual more space. So instead of 36, I can have 72 on one layer, 72 machines on one layer. But it also works for general purpose long processing chains and long crafting chains or whatever. You know what I'm saying? General purpose. That's what makes it modular because I could just rearrange the machines any which way I want. You know what I'm saying? Basically, say if this is all macerators, right? And I'm crushing cobblestone in this one down to sand that gets to this one. The sand moves to this one, outputs to this one, gets crushed to dust or whatever. Don't need that, but whatever that is, you know what I'm saying? I can run all of that across all of this and still have enough power in the entire system. And then I could do something up here, same thing, you know what I'm saying? And if I'm really if I'm really if I really want to be efficient with this particular design, the other way is instead of putting machines directly on the battery buffers, then I could just add cables down here. It wouldn't be these cables though. It would be regular Greg Tech cables. You know what I'm saying? Probably superconductor cables. That's what I normally use. something like this, right? And then connect the middles. You know what I'm saying? Make it an entire grid. So instead of putting the machines directly onto the what's the name, I can make this like the same thing as it's like the factory gauges from Create, like how it's a board and it's all configured together. You know what I'm saying? You have to actually know what I'm talking about uh, when it comes to that. But for all the people out there who are familiar with Create, the factory gauges and how you lay it out on the board, it'll look something like this. But I'm doing it with actual machines. You know what I'm saying? So the next thing would be to actually grab the machine. If they come down here, and I could basically throw them anywhere that I want. You know what I'm saying? I could connect this any which way that I want. I need machine up there, connect it any single way that I want. You know what I'm saying? Add the tanks and the chest and whatever, however I'm gonna connect that up, right? To get whatever processing chain going on. And I got all of these different spaces. And the fact that I can do this, I can just because I have the carry on mine, I can just do this, pull the machine off, put it down there with all the MBT data attached, so all the items that's inside of it, all the power that's inside the actual machine, and then if I want to place it back on, same thing, just do that. You know what I'm saying? And this makes a lot more sense. You know what I'm saying with this design. So I try to expand that. You know what I'm saying? Put a block space on each side. You know what I'm saying? And this is what I came up with as far as the final design. This is what it would realistically look like for all mine. This is gonna be MV machine floor. If I didn't make that clear from the beginning of the video, I'm trying to avoid what I did with my LV machine floor, where I just had a bunch of machines all over the place, void extractor in the corner. Everything's fully automated, but I just don't want a bunch of machines all over the place. And even though it's fun to play it like that, I wanted it a little bit more organized. It's easy to do that. I was just, I want it a little bit more organized. I don't want to play the 9x9 dire wolf 20 way where everything's just all over the place. You know what I'm saying? Um, yeah. So this is what I came up with right here, and this is how it would realistically connect. You know what I'm saying? Um, and the way that I would get power into this is basically wireless power. So what I would really do is connect the this is not what's the name properly, because the rest I got to be connected to the wires. But I will put an energy converter on here, and then I would put a an energy node from the Direwolf 20 mod laser IO, and then I would attach an advanced laser connector. That's the gold laser connectors, and that makes it a wireless system. So I would just attach I will hook up the advanced cable connector, laser connector, to my generator, my MV diesel generator. That's what the whole purpose of it is for, and that makes this entire system wireless. So as soon as I just hook it up right here, this entire system is fully all connected. You know what I'm saying? It's all connected. Back here is not configured to actually pull from but from the western end, but as soon as I do that or whatever, you know what I'm saying, connects the wire and all that, so any power coming out of there would flow through the entire system and fill up all of these battery buffers and all that. You know what I'm saying? And then it's the same thing with as far as just wiring it up like this. And I got one, two, three, four blocks of space out here. So if I do that and put a machine in front of that, then I still got 2 blocks of space out here. You know what I'm saying? I can do whatever I need to do here. You know what I'm saying? Still have a mesh and all of that. And none of the wires, none of the GT wires actually interfere with this, because they won't be able to connect. And that's basically that. So the next thing I did was which I've been scrolling past the entire time. I have this whole entire module. I have it already copied into the building gadgets copy paste a peripheral, which is another Direwolf 20 mod. You know what I'm saying? From building gadgets, it's called building gadgets. So yeah, I copied the entire module or whatever. You know what I'm saying? The glass blocks basically represent the ends of the chunk. You know what I'm saying? And the extreme height. You know what I'm saying? Vertically for the entire module or whatever. So if I come in here, I can come in here, line it up with the edge of the chunk, and then automatically just build that to see what it would look like. You know what I'm saying? And then add a secondary module down here. You see what it look like. And this is what it would look like if I was to extend it horizontally. Now, if I want to put another module on top, same thing. Glass blocks are the anchor blocks, basically. One right there, and then the other one right there. And this gives me a little bit more of a visual idea of what this would look like. So if I needed to extend it, this is basically it. You know what I'm saying? I can extend it in every single direction that I want to, and I can extend it as far as down there as possible. So this only really represents two chunks, and this is what the entire build would look like. Now it will be a little bit more conducive to run this horizontally versus keep pulling it out in front of it, because I am losing space in between here. You know what I'm saying? Even though I have two blocks of space, it's still tight to really have processing chains like that. You know what I'm saying? It makes a little bit more sense to run it side by side. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, this is the whole concept, and this keeps everything neat. Uh, I can see everything that's going on. I don't need to worry about accessing top and bottoms. I got the jet boots for that, but always try to make it in a way where I can access it if I don't have the jet boots. So this will be like travel anchors or something like that, which is a block from NDIO, but it's its own mod here or whatever. You know what I'm saying? And the travel staff or whatever, so I could just teleport up to the block, and then I could walk the entire machine floor or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Obviously down here, this will be all glass or something like that, so I don't fall through the floor, and keep it moving like that. You know what I'm saying? I have the space here, out here, and then that block underneath will be like this block space underneath here will be like for if I get a product or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Whatever the final product is from the processing chain or whatever. You know what I'm saying? That's what that'll be right there. And also have space in the back if I want to connect that particular storage block to like an A2 system, and have it reflected in my A2 system in the network, so I can see exactly what's in everything here, if it's producing it passively or whatever it's doing. Uh, that's it. And this is basically general purpose. I could keep using this same design over and over and over and over again. You know what I'm saying? And low key, this is basically a future proof kind of design or whatever, because I could use it past here. You know what I'm saying? Past this technological age, past MV into the next age or whatever. The only thing is how to factor in the various types of multi blocks, because certain things are gonna have to be hooked up to multi blocks, and that's where uh two things that I want to bring up. That's where it becomes a little bit inefficient. You know what I'm saying? To run uh like a line from a machine all the way to a multi block that's far away, or a good significant amount of distance away, because of what I've learned, especially after the last build that I did, the LV circuit generator, the revision tool for that, is which something that I should have understood in the beginning, but I don't know why I didn't. It overlooked it. You know what I'm saying? Short sighted on that particular front, but you need to keep your GT machines close together. I don't know why I didn't notice that before, but you need to keep it really close together, because you lose power over distance when it comes to the cables. You know what I'm saying? And the same thing as the item pipes kind of work like real pipes in real life. You know what I'm saying? Items can flow through it for the most part, but it's a little bit like water, because items can actually go back in the opposite direction. You can't tell any of this, but I'm telling you just from playing this extensively or whatever, that's the case. And it's the same thing with power. You know what I'm saying? There's certain points in the power grid where you won't be able to give power to a machine, because just like real life, current and electricity inside of wires is like a pipe. It's like water through a pipe. It's the same thing, same concept. If you don't really know that, and so certain areas of your grid will not be getting power. So that means certain machines won't run, while other machines around it will run. And I was running into that issue with the last bill. You know what I'm saying? So much so that I had to add a tertiary power system. You know what I'm saying? Which again, which is my favorite block all the way up until this point. I like solar power, so those solar powered steam boilers. You know what I'm saying? Um, I had to add another line of that, and I had to add multiple, like maybe 12 to 16 of them, in order to power the one part of the grid that wasn't getting power. You know what I'm saying? So everything could run perpetually without any issues. I just turn it on. You know what I'm saying? So I'm trying to avoid that. You know what I'm saying? Which leads me, segues me into another realization. It's easier to transport power when it's in its RF form versus EU, because the way EU works is that you lose an amp of power the farther it goes, the farther it has to travel. That's the reason why you need to keep your machines close together, because you lose power over distance. RF is not like that. RF is the more universal power measurement when it comes to modern MC and all that. You know what I'm saying? But for the most part, unless it's coded into the pack or whatever, you don't really lose power over distance. It's kind of instant. You know what I'm saying? The power really is. It's not super instant. It still flows through the wire. You know what I'm saying? But you don't lose power over distance. Not the same way as EU. It doesn't work the same way. It's different. So with that in mind, in this particular instance where I do have FE and EU in the same pack, and I also have other mods as well. It makes a little bit. It's more conducive to transport power over any kind of distance in its RF FE form, and then convert it back into EU. You know what I'm saying? It makes way more sense to do it that way, and that's the way that I'm gonna be doing it in the future. Because I don't want to transport EU over long distance. They have machines and blocks and all that for it in GT. I know there's a long distance pipe and all that stuff like that, but I'm not gonna use all of that. It just seems like a waste of resources when I could do it for cheaper and more reliable with these energy pipes. And even if I had the thermal pipes, because this is its own separate mod, this is from the pipes mod or whatever. But this is like an in between of like thermal expansion and like NDIO, like the old energy conduits and all that, which I still think the conduits still hands down to this day. It's still it's a hot take, but it's not a hot take. But the energy conduits are the best item pipe, energy pipe, whatever you want to call it, um, in existence, because you could put four of them in one block space, and they could be going in multiple different directions. And then you have a lot of logic that's already programmed into the actual cable, and you can send things to different channels and all that. Phenomenal mod, you know what I'm saying? Um, you really need NDRO in this pack. You know what I'm saying? I'm playing Star Technology in the lightweight version of this pack. The light version is a little bit more focused, and they actually put NDRO into the pack. You know what I'm saying? That's why I wanted to play that pack, but this world doesn't actually work in that pack. You know what I'm saying? It's too much configuration here and everything else. I tried to make it run, but it doesn't work. Anyway, yeah. So this is gonna be the design going forward for my modular machine floor. Like I said, when it comes to multi blocks, that's the only thing that's not accounted for here. You know what I'm saying? Um, I just could keep it simple, get a dedicated chunk to all the multi blocks or whatever for the process, and then run everything back into the actual machines. I don't want to teleport anything too much as far as items and all that stuff like that. Unless I'm building it up in my actual world, I don't want to do it in creative, because you still have to track the actual location of where you teleporting items to. Which is, I don't know why that's not built into the laser IO. You know what I'm saying? I feel like that's an oversight, because you need a way to be able to track the connections. You know what I'm saying? That was one of the biggest issues from the LV circuit generator revision 1. You know what I'm saying? Biggest gripes or whatever. You know what I'm saying? and made it a nightmare to actually rewire that. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, this is the design that I'm going for. It's nice, neat. Has a that futuristic float machine look that I like. You know what I'm saying? Heavy sci-fi look and all that to it. You know what I'm saying? So this is what I'm going for. Oh, one thing I forgot to mention: the parts. How expensive the parts actually are. So we're gonna get this, get this, get this, and get this. This is what it's mostly made out of, right? So this right here, not that expensive. I already have a ton of this, ton of these cables already. You know what I'm saying? All the tiers except for the last tier, uh, in my storage system and all that. So this is just lead plates. Lead is super easy to get. Um, tin cable. Uh, this is easy to get. I already have a ton of this already. 1x tin cable. Next thing is the redstone flux cells. This is super easy to make. It's just lead and electrum. Electrum is an alloy. So yeah, electrum is I believe it's gold and silver or something like that or whatever it is. I forgot what the ratio actually was. If I can find it, yeah, it's gold and silver. Uh, this is a little hard to get. Silver's a little hard to get, but I have stacks of both of these already. And I already have stacks of redstone flux cells. I knew I was gonna use them. You know what I'm saying? Cause like been a fan of thermal expansion since back in the days. One of my favorite tech mods. Next to NDIO, you know what I'm saying? For back in the day, from the 1710 days, those are my two favorite mods. And then 1710 NDIO, 110 NDIO. I didn't like it. You know what I'm saying? But thermal expansion stayed like the universal best or whatever. Um, Even though I learned IC2, that was the first tech mod I ever learned. Like period. Um, the energy converters. Energy converters. Not too complex. MV machine holes. Just a little bit of aluminum. Already got that raw iron, which is cooked up iron or whatever. You know what I'm saying? 1x copper cable. I got tons of that sitting in the system. Got a ton of aluminum already. You know what I'm saying? I haven't processed all of it in the plates, but I got a ton of that already. And signalum. Signalum is a little bit difficult, but I already got stacks of that. On my LV machine floor or all that. You know what I'm saying? Second thing is the last thing is the battery buffer. So this is 4x copper wire, which is still not an issue. You know what I'm saying? I got basically infinite copper, a chest, and another MV machine hole, and that's easy to get. So all these components right here is already stuff that I already have in abundance, so it's easy to get. You know what I'm saying? And this right here, even this double layer right here, this is like feasible. You know what I'm saying? Extremely feasible for me to do. And the only thing I would need to do is just connect this line to this line. You know what I'm saying? So I most likely just run that straight down through the floor. You know what I'm saying? And then add the energy converter down here. I could add a battery buffer, but there's no real need. There's already battery buffers in the system. So, and then these are also battery buffers as well. You know what I'm saying? If I didn't mention that before, these are batteries. You know what I'm saying? And run it through the converter. You know what I'm saying? Attach the node and the laser connector and all that, and just teleport everything over here and just let it run. You know what I'm saying? Or just let the buffers fill up with power. You know what I'm saying? So this is something that I could build up right now in the world and all that. Have it like a chunk or two away from my diesel generator. You know what I'm saying? Probably closer to the LV circuit generator. You know what I'm saying? Over there somewhere, something like that. And just leave it there. And then turn on the diesel generator and let that connect to this and fill up all the buffers here, because it's going to take eons to fill up the buffers all the way back to the redstone cell. You know what I'm saying? It's got to fill up these buffers right here. It's going to be 4 medium voltage batteries. And I forgot how much they hold, but if I take a look at it real quick, as soon as this catches up. This is not the one that I was looking at. There's another one right here. These right here. It's the MV sodium batteries. Uh, I think lithium is the best ones. I forgot there was two different types of batteries or whatever. Yeah, so this holds 1.8 million. No, this is the HV. That's the HV battery. That's what it is. No, there is multiple types. Never noticed that. I knew it from before, but you got sodium and you got the lithium. The sodium is 80,000. Lithium is 120. These are the better batteries. Lithium is the better battery, which I feel like reflects real life. Everything usually lithium anyway. Yeah, there's a difference here. But most nine of the time, I'm probably gonna use the sodium. You know what I'm saying? That's what I've been using because I got tons and tons and tons of sodium, and the battery holes are not even that difficult. The battery alloy is not difficult. Got a ton of that already, and well, just to showcase what it's actually made of. This right here is a byproduct of I forgot what I was making, but I got a ton of that already, and the battery alloy is it's antimony and something else. Antimony dust and it's lead dust. 4-to-1 ratio, and that's how you get battery alloy, which is easy. You know what I'm saying? Antimony, you basically get that in the beginning. Uh, that has to do with the sphalerite or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Um, I don't know what the lithium is actually made out of. Of course, it's lithium dust, but where you get lithium from? Oh, you get that from clay. Okay. See, but you get more sodium than you get lithium, and this is how I was making my aluminum. This is how I was getting my aluminum with clay dust. So I do have lithium. That means I do have lithium in my system. It's probably on the LV machine floor. I just have to actually check. I know I got silicon. I know I got this for a fact. I know I got this for a fact. So I definitely have lithium dust down there somewhere. I just need to see how much of I actually have. But for the most part, I'm not really rushing to use lithium batteries. There's no real need to make an immediate thing or whatever. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, this is gonna be the future of my machine floors, and just to showcase what it would look like, I'm probably gonna have to use signalum wire as a superconductor wire. Max amperage is 32. It's 128 EU at 32 amps. Most likely, I'm gonna make this, or I'm gonna make this. I can make this because signalum is a little bit rare. You know what I'm saying? It's not that easy to really make signalum like that. You know what I'm saying? Even though it is easy, but I just don't have it in a comfortable amount yet. I don't have this in abundance. I have a lot, but not in abundance. So I want to be a little bit easy until I can mass produce this. So I'm probably gonna use 1x signalum wire, or whatever. You know what I'm saying? This is what it would look like. You know what I'm saying? Then I just connect all of that together. Um, this also, I need to really do my research on MV wires. I don't even know what a 1x and how to make a 1x copper MV wire. It's the same thing as what I normally see, so I don't really see the difference. Oh no, that's the copper wire was the first basic wire, whatever, for MV. That's what it was. But I use copper wire all the time. I don't actually use it in my setups and all that, but yeah. But anyway, I'm rambling a little bit. You know what I'm saying? But this is what everything's gonna look like. You know what I'm saying? Probably set up another one, facing this or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I could do that. Set up another one facing this, facing towards this. You know what I'm saying? And make it do what it do. You know what I'm saying?